Tonight, the Trump campaign touting a fundraising success. After personally offering to match donations up to $2 million, Trump hit that goal in less than 12 hours. He had said he had 48 to do it. Out front now, Donald Trump's son, Eric Trump. And Eric, good to see you again.
Good being here.
All right, so obviously this is a success, but when you look at the overall numbers, we keep seeing them, right? $42 million for the Clinton campaign, just over $1 million for the Trump campaign. Are you going to close that gap?
Well, it's truly one of the dishonest sound bites. We started raising money on May 28th. Right, the $1 million was reported for May. So last night we had a fundraiser where we raised $6 million. We are raising so much money online. We are doing so well. So hold on. I mean, my father was self-funding his campaign all the way through May, and we just started raising money. But believe me, we're going to raise a lot of money. And, you know, it's also nice. We don't need the kind of money that Hillary needs. She has 730 people on staff. You know how many we have? We have 70. I mean, her operation is bloated. It's crazy. You know, we run a lean operation. Quite frankly, this country should be run the same way.
Some potential donors, of the big donors, you know, that I had spoken to, look, there were some things your father had said, not just the ban on Muslims coming into the country, but other things, Mexican judge issue, that made them really pause and say they didn't want to do it. Today, he gave a speech, 40-minute speech. It was prepared. It was on a teleprompter. Paul Ryan, who, as you know, just said delegates should vote their conscience. Which was not a ringing endorsement of your father, said this was the kind of speech he would want.
He said senators should vote their conscience, not delegates. Okay, senators should vote their conscience.
Right, but it wasn't exactly what you would want to hear him say. But today he said this speech was the kind of speech you would want to hear a nominee give, right? It was an endorsement of the speech we heard your dad give today. He had 8 priorities in the speech, and what I think is interesting when you talk about fundraising and donors, I didn't see the word in here, wall, the word China wasn't in here, Mexico wasn't in here, deporting people wasn't in here, banning Muslims wasn't in here. None of those things were in there.
Listen, I think they were actually big themes of the speech. I mean, I don't think one has any parallel with the other, but my father was actually spent a lot of time in the speech talking about how you can't allow 200,000 Syrian refugees into this country. I mean, here we have inner cities all over the country with minorities who have, you know, 56% unemployment. And we're thinking about bringing 200,000 people in that the FBI and the CIA and all our other intelligence agencies say have elements of ISIS and elements of terror in it. He actually spent a lot of time talking about that. And I think he will be very, very firm on the border because he believes this nation actually has to have, you know, borders. It has to have laws, and we have to obey those laws.
Words matter, though, and on these, he gave 8 priorities for his first 100 days. And like I said, there was no wall. There was no deportation. There was no Muslim ban. This was a teleprompter speech. Was that purposeful? Something to get people like Paul Ryan on board? It talked about immigration, but it didn't say ban people.
Well, listen, also, I mean, I think we're missing another point. You're referring to money. The RNC, the Republican National Party, has raised significantly more money since the beginning of this fiscal year than the DNC. So obviously something about his message is resonating, right? The RNC has raised $155 million. The DNC has raised about $100 million. So something about that message is resonating. But no, I mean, his focus was really on Hillary.
Your father is known for being loyal, perhaps to a fault. Sure. Corey Lewandowski may be example number one when it comes to that. One of his close friends was telling me yesterday, your father's close friends was saying, look, when the whole issue with the reporter happened of the alleged battery, that might have been the time to part ways. Your father didn't want to do it then because he was loyal. He wanted to stay on board with him.
No, he didn't want to do it at that point because nothing happened. I mean, nothing happened. There was clear video evidence that nothing happened, but he is loyal to a fault. I mean, he loves people. If people are loyal to him, he'll give his shirt off the back for somebody. I mean, I've seen that, again, my entire life. He's a great man. He's been a great father. He is a very, very loyal person, and he doesn't. Believe me, that's the worst thing you can ever have to do. I mean, letting somebody go is the worst thing you ever have to do.
So obviously the reporting is it was you and your siblings who sat down with him and said, Dad, it's time. It's time for Corey Lewandowski to go. Is that what happened?
Listen, I have immense respect for Corey. I really do. I have immense respect for Corey, and he knows that. And listen, campaigns migrate over time. You know, Corey is an amazing guy who got us from a point of, hey, you know, here's a candidate who's never run for any political office, and he wins the Republican primary with more votes than any person in the history of this country. You know, so he's a Republican nominee now. But you know, at the same time, campaigns have to grow. Campaigns have to evolve. Campaigns have to change to a certain extent. You know, running in all 50 states at the same time is very different than, you know, winning New Hampshire or winning Nevada or, you know, winning these states. I mean, it's just campaigns really evolve over time. The size of campaigns, the messages of campaigns, you know, where you have to be in a campaign, it evolves over time. And, you know, accordingly changes are made. But I mean, I really have tremendous respect for Corey. He's a great guy on a personal level, and you know, he really he helped us get where we are today.
Marco Rubio spoke to CNN and was asked, as you know, obviously he says he's now going to be running for re-election for the Senate. He had said he wouldn't do that. Now he is. And he was asked if he would campaign for your father. Here's what he said.
It's not that I'm looking to undermine him, but I think the differences between us on some key issues are so significant that I just don't plan to campaign. I've got to run my own race.
Your response?
That doesn't say much to me. I've gotten to know Marco. I got to know his wife very well. Throughout the campaign process, we see these people all the time. They're good people. I think when you have 17 people standing up on stage and you put every ounce of your energy into winning such a brutal process and you don't ultimately win, it's hard. I mean, it's a hard thing. Believe me, this is a grueling, nasty, tough process. You put everything you have into it. Your family puts everything you have, and that's tough. I mean, and I think sometimes it takes time, and that's probably what Marco needs. And I think at the same time we have so many of the same objectives. The first objective is not allowing Hillary to win because she'd be an absolute disaster for this nation, and we'd have another 4 years of Obama. But I think he'll ultimately come around. And again, I think you need sometimes to allow time to heal battle wounds.
All right, but you believe he'll ultimately come around. Eric Trump, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron.